Robert Whittaker pulled out of his title weight defense, of his title defense in his home country. A lot of people behind us came here just to see this guy.
I earned this. You know what I mean? I showed up, traveled thousands and thousands of miles from home, made the weight. You know, in my world, we're in the wrestling world. Guy shows up, makes the weight. For some reason, doesn't want to, cancels the bout. The guy forfeits the match. I win. I'm the champion.
Hey, Rob, heal up quick. Kelvin, put that belt down. Seriously. And, yeah, whatever happens next, shut your mouth. What you gonna do when I run wild on you? Now, I love you guys. Out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Israel Adesanya.
What's up MMA fans, and welcome to another fight breakdown. Today I'm going to be taking a look at two top contenders in the middleweight division, Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum for the interim title. This fight was just confirmed yesterday and the MMA community has reacted really interestingly to it, with some people saying that Israel will take the W easily, knocking out Kelvin Gastelum, and others saying that Kelvin has the chin and the wrestling to expose Israel on the ground. Let's start off by diving into Israel Adesanya's strengths and weaknesses, and then take a look at Kelvin's afterwards. But before we get started, remember to leave a like and a comment and subscribe as well if you haven't already. Also guys, I've created a new Instagram account for the channel, so if you want to give that a follow, I'll leave a link in the description below. So jumping straight in to talk about Adesanya's strengths, Israel is a kickboxer who moved to the UFC fairly recently after a career in kickboxing with 81 fights, of which 75 are wins, with 48 of those coming by knockout, so a very decorated kickboxing record. He also touched on boxing too, with some wins in that sport before moving into MMA, where he relies heavily on his striking to ride out a decision or get the knockout. He'll get the knockout with flush knees and striking, and following them up with flurries of precise strikes. He also has an 80-inch reach compared to the 71.5-inch reach of Kelvin, so he has the distance advantage, so where he's going to strive in this fight is going to be on the outside, being aggressive but also maintaining a safe enough distance to get out of the boxing pocket with Gastelum, as that's where Kelvin is most dangerous with those deadly 1-2s. He has shown to have decent wrestling defense against fighters like Brad Tavares and Derek Brunson, but has mostly fought other strikers, for example his recent fight with Anderson Silva, in which a lot of people thought he was holding back out of kind of respect, but trust me, in this fight there will be no respect between the fighters, so you definitely want to tune into it. Adesanya is in his prime right now and is somewhat of an underdog going into this fight because he doesn't have that big wrestling base that is the perfect foundation for the sport of MMA. But in the few fights that he has been in for the UFC, he has shown us that he can live up to the occasion, embraces the moment, is a showman, and is very effective in wrestling scrambles and defending takedowns against the cage. Adesanya should be able to outwork Kelvin on the feet and will probably mostly be throwing punches and kicks in this fight to try and keep Kelvin from rushing in for the takedown. I could also see Kelvin slowing down in the later rounds if Adesanya manages to keep it on the feet and really puts the pace on him, so we'll just have to see if he can manage that. He has a really good unorthodox punching style. He doesn't always stay on the centre line, which is definitely a thing that you don't want to do against Kelvin. The only thing that we haven't seen him do is really face anyone in the top 5, so Jacare, Weidman, Romero, who are all absolute killers. So we don't know if he can compete in terms of takedown defence against these top wrestlers. But I'm betting that he probably will be able to stuff the takedowns, as he's had enough time to adjust to MMA and do it properly. One weakness of Adesanya is that he hasn't got that granite chin that Gastelum has. He has been knocked out cold in kickboxing before, so we know that if he does get hit clean, then he will go down. It's not like Kelvin, where he can get hit flush on the chin and just keep coming forward. So just a thing to remember going into this fight, that has happened to him before in his kickboxing career. That brings us on to Kelvin Gastelum. He made a lot of fans mad by holding Cejudo's belt after Whittaker was taken sick with a hernia at the last event. but you have to give this man credit. He has crisp boxing, wrestling credentials that speak for themselves, he has that mean 1-2 combination that he really builds his whole striking game around, really good lead uppercuts going into that 1-2, the jab pull cross that he used against Bisping, and you have to be alert and not fall for the traps when going into boxing distance, because he can take a punch to get 2 in, and he won't be fazed by your power. He'll just keep going, and if he knocks you down or takes you down and smells blood, then the next thing you know he's sinking in that rear naked choke, because he also has really good jiu-jitsu. He has that black belt with 10th planet jiu-jitsu, so Adesanya can't hang on the ground with this guy, he's going to have to make use of his scrambles. Kelvin does have to be the one to close the distance in this fight. If he can't do that effectively, then he is in a lot of trouble, because otherwise Adesanya will just pick him off from the outside, and he has that 71.5 inch reach compared to Adesanya's 80 inch reach, so it might be tough for him to do that, but he is used to being the smaller man at middleweight, and one thing that shocks his opponents is his hand speed as well. Gastelum doesn't have the most shredded body, but he is fast, accurate and powerful. He also has that granite chin. He fought against Woodley at welterweight, so it's already a hard weight cut, which was already a hard weight cut even though he kind of missed weight by 10 pounds anyway, but still, he took those T-bombs right on the button and it didn't do much damage. The concern for Gastelum is that he could gas out in the later rounds if Israel really puts the pace on him, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. He had some kind of weird stuff all over his face in the last fight too, so hopefully he gets it all sorted out and it won't affect his performance or health going into the next fight. We really don't want Israel catching herpes now, do we? So, who do you guys think will win this fight? Let's get the discussion rolling out early, just after the fight is announced, so we have plenty of time to talk about it before it happens. Leave a comment letting me know your pick and your reason. Let me know if you liked the video or didn't like the video, and remember to subscribe if you're new here, because we're trying to get to 200 subs by the end of February and we're absolutely smashing it. Thanks guys for all the support. I've been MMA HeadSpace, you've been amazing, peace out.